Hey guys, welcome to DarkKnightNation for our Antman and the Wasp review. We're going to try something new out today and test out a podcast format, so feel free to tab out and listen for most of the video. For each episode, we'll do a brief discussion on our thoughts and reactions to the movie. If you're worried about spoilers, don't be. The first half of the discussion will be posted as a non-spoiler talk, and we'll give you all a chance to see it for yourselves. We'll start moving into spoiler territory in another video that'll be posted soon after this one. No need to wait. If you enjoy the content and want to see more videos like this, click that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel for more. Like last time, I have a guest here to discuss the movie with. Welcome back, Tyson. Thanks for coming on, man.
Hey, anytime.
So you have a radio show starting back up in the fall. You want to let the good folks know what it's all about?
Yep. It's just a really simple kind of pop culture show. We talk about movies, music, TV, anything else that we feel like talking about. And if you want more information about that, you can check us out on Twitter at whatever the show.
Alright, now that we have all the formalities up and over with, let's get into the review. So this is going to be the first portion, the non-spoiler review for Antman and the Wasp. So overall, what did you think of the movie?
I liked it. It's a good movie. There's very little wrong with it. The only thing working against it is the fact that we've gotten some pretty spectacular movies out of Marvel in the last couple films out. You make a good point. Like, we had spoken earlier, and personally, I think the second one was better than the first one. I think that, and you had brought up a good point earlier saying that with the Marvel movies, you tend to have a little bit more of a tighter written film for the original, and then the sequel kind of elaborates, but it's a little bit more loose. It's not as constructed. For me, I really enjoyed it because I felt like this movie had a lot of extra emotional weight to it. I felt like there were some more consequences beside, an insane villain. So, and I think, too, you get to see, like, the relationships between Scott and the other members of the cast explored in more depth. So I really enjoyed that personally, the character interactions that we get. It's really just, it's just a movie. I have a hard time saying it's a placeholder movie, but it's kind of like something else.
But it's a placeholder movie.
It's a placeholder movie. And that's why, I had a problem. We spoke earlier again about how I kind of wish that this movie came after Avengers because it takes place, or because it was released between Avengers 3 and 4, it does kind of feel like a placeholder movie.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. I think that I personally don't have a problem with it. I see where you're coming from, but I think it's a palate cleanser. I think it would have taken away a little bit of the gravitas in Avengers 4 if we were to go from 3 to 4. Yeah. You know what I mean? This helps to kind of bring the energy down. So that we can crescendo back up to crazy and crying and whatever else is going to happen in the next Avengers movie.
I agree. Do you want to get more into specifics?
Yeah, so without obviously spoiling anything for everyone, I think that the movie kind of had its weaker part in the third act. I think that's where things stopped making as much sense.
Just kind of slowed down because it was just like. I was really with it for most of the movie, and then it got to the third act and it was like science, action.
See, I feel like, we might disagree, but I feel like there was a little bit less exposition than we might have needed. You know, I think that while the film, was the funniest Marvel movie I've seen, and
that's lofty. I don't know about that.
I
know you don't really like Thor Ragnarok.
So. I like the movie, but I thought it was forced. This movie didn't feel as forced. It felt more natural, The jokes and lines that you get delivered are versatile in the sense that you're not getting it just from one character. Mm-hmm. Everybody has those cool little one-liners, whether it be Michael Douglas as Hank Pym or Angelina Lilly. Yeah. So I think that the comedy in this one was in the nearest memory of all the Marvel movies, my favorite.
That's interesting. I don't know what I would say is my favorite, but yeah, it's Marvel comedy. And I think that if you like Marvel comedy, you'll like it.
Oh yeah, you'll really. If not, you might have some problems. Yeah. I think even if you have your own qualms with Marvel's comedy, I think you'll kind of let it go in this movie. It's too funny. I think that I wish it had a little bit more exposition, which I think they sacrificed.
No, that's why I think it made the science talk so like at the end it's just very science heavy. You're like quantum. Well, you knew what that was quantum realm, but quantum realm, this and that. And I wish they took more time to explain it. Although for all we know, there could have been a cut of the movie where they explained it better and it felt slow.
Yeah, that's true. There's always, hashtag director cut, Batman versus Superman makes big deal. Not really. But, yeah, I see where you're coming from. I wish that we got a little bit more of an explanation behind, like, the sci-fi aspects of the movie.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was great. I thought it was better than the first one. I think it's definitely... I mean, I can't say top 20 because now they actually have, like, 20 more movies.
Yeah.
But
I would say, I don't know if it would crack the top 10 for me.
I don't know if it would either. It'd be a lot of contendership.
It's getting to a tight list. This is what I like about Marvel. It's getting to like really tight. Like it's going to be really hard to crack the top 5 now.
It's like imagine 5 years from now if they keep this pace up, we could have over 30 more.
Like, imagine, like put it this way: imagine the first Avengers movie like not making the top 25.
Oh my god! Like if we ever get to a point, because
I mean, Avengers is my second favorite Marvel movie. So
I mean that's valid. We both have our own opinions.
Yeah.
I think my second favorite might have been Black Panther, but getting a little bit off topic there. Antman and the Wasp, I think, was really good at integrating the Wasp as a co-lead.
It felt very natural.
It didn't feel forced, and most people don't realize that she's technically the first female lead in a superhero movie, besides, in a Marvel movie, I should say, in a Marvel superhero movie. So that's, big ups for Evangeline Lilly. I think she did a great job.
Really good job. I think that's one of the things about the movie. I don't think anybody drops the ball on this movie.
No, and whether it be the actors or the writing, or there's some small bits of the writing that kind of bugged me that we'll go into later. But I think everybody killed their role. I actually had no idea. Oh, apparently it's a publicized thing that Lawrence Fishburne was in the movie.
Yeah, I saw it. It's interesting. I always say this because as much as I like movies, I don't really like trying. Oh, I'm talking about this in spoilers. Never mind. He brought a good energy.
Yeah, and I think that for me, like the first 2 acts of this movie were really great. Mm-hmm. Like I was sitting there, it's like I have no problems with this. We're good. Yeah. Like I said, the third act, I don't want to say it crumbles because it's a good movie.
It's still great.
It's not Suicide Squad. Yeah, you know what I mean? Where like the third act of the movie plummets. Yeah. But that's where it starts to crack a little bit. And then speaking of the end of the movie, one of those end credit scenes.
One of the end credit scenes is good. Oh. And it's good because we knew that was pretty much going to be the end credit scene. Like, at least I knew. I was like, that's probably what it's going to be. Yeah. Even when you see it, you're like, it's good.
Yeah, it hits you right in the childhood. It's good.
Like,
and the crazy thing is that these movies are some people's childhoods now. Like, probably including our generation, but it's wild to think about. We're getting old.
This is going to be our, like, Star Wars.
Yeah, I'd agree. Because Star Wars is trying to come back, but I don't think it's ever going to be it's going to make the crazy box office money, but I don't think it's ever.
Go on a whole tangent, but I like the Star Wars.
Okay, so back to Antman and the Wasp. Who do you think was your favorite character in the movie?
I was going to ask you what's the standout. That's tough because it is such a So here's the thing. It's such a everybody works really well together that it's hard to pick a standout. Probably just Paul Rudd.
Yeah, Paul Rudd was solid. I think what I enjoyed most were the moments with him and his daughter.
Yes, I was going to say the girl does a great job.
In terms of standout, it might be his daughter.
It's so easy for child actors to be really annoying.
Yeah.
She was not annoying.
I
really liked that. Like the opening scene, how they open it, like the opening scene where you get introduced to him and his daughter was really cute.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things that I liked so much about this movie and how you kind of delve deeper into the interpersonal relationships between the character was seeing more of Paul Rudd with his daughter, because obviously, hashtag spoilers, in the first one, he's in jail most of the time. If not, he's with Hank Pym.
Yeah.
So this movie, we get to see a little bit more of him and his dynamic with his daughter and his ex-wife and the stepfather.
I liked it's a little bit of, because usually if you think of like a superhero family story, it's like this balance between family and things where it's like, the family's like, oh, you can't be Ant-Man anymore, and he's like, trying to balance the two. And they didn't really steer heavy to that, which I liked because that's such a traditional story.
It's too tropey.
Exactly, we've seen that before.
It avoids some classic superhero storytelling tropes, which I think is really cool. All right, so speaking of something that pertains to the superhero genre, what did you think about the villain in this movie?
I liked it. I think Marvel has a villain problem, which is a thing. And I think the solution to that is either you make a really great villain, like Killmonger or Thanos, or you find a way to not have a solid villain And I think that's what this movie did.
Really? I think that the villain in this movie was 10 times better than the villain in the first one.
Definitely.
Because if you compare the character who we know from the promos as Ghost to Darren Cross,
absolutely.
She has a little bit more of a stake, whereas Darren Cross, the only explanation we got in the first one was, okay, his research with Pym particles and whatnot have altered his brain chemistry, but like Hank Pym has been dealing with Pym particles his whole life, so why isn't he fine?
Yeah.
But I feel like Ghost has a lot more to stand on.
Mm-hmm.
The best villains are the ones that have any semblance of a convincing motivation to be a villain, and obviously like that's what makes Thanos great. That's what makes Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger great.
What I mean by soft villain is like it's not so much like we're not all the way. It's sort of like by the end of any way I say this is getting into spoiler territory, but there's not a Thanos of this movie. There's not somebody who's like the all bad like.
I think there's also a certain degree, because I think part of why you might think that way is because you were kind of looking for that big gravitas. Like you said, you were a little bit bummed by how much lower scale.
It's definitely not a negative. I actually think it's a positive. I think whenever the MCU can not have a villain, that makes the story very interesting. So with something like Ego or Civil War, obviously, I'm trying to think of a better example. Like when you can have some kind of organic thing where maybe you're not fighting a big bad, maybe it's just the conflict of the movie feels better, I think.
Yeah, Civil War kind of with Zemo. He was kind of a product of that world.
But what I really liked about Civil War, we're getting a little off topic, but if you compare Civil War to Batman vs Superman, Civil War the ending is still the team splitting up.
It also didn't need a director's cut to not be ass.
But we didn't have to unify and all fight one guy at the end.
That's super tropey. Yeah, I can definitely. To be fair, Marvel's made that mistake. Avengers 2, the classic, everybody shooting laser beams at Ultron until
again, I do like that movie a lot. Probably more. I like that movie more than most. But
yeah, I get what you're saying. But in terms of Ant-Man, like I said, I kind of enjoyed the villain. I thought the character had a stake and a foothold and a reason to kind of be who they were, and you can see why that person kind of is going off the rails.
Yeah.
A
lot better than Malekith.
Yeah, a little bit better than Dark Elves, man. I'm not vibing those bad boys. But then again, I kind of liked Thor 2 more than most people did.
I think I did too. I think I like most Marvel movies more than
most people did.
Yeah.
Iron Man 3 is the worst. Just saying. Just gonna put that out there.
You're really saying Iron Man 3 is the worst?
What beats it?
Worse than Iron Man 2?
Oh, fuck yeah.
No, Iron Man 2 is
oh my.
Iron Man 2 is the worst one.
Oh my.
I think you don't like Iron Man 3. Why don't you like Iron Man 3?
Just get this out of the way. The villain was weak. The plot was thinner than a sheet of paper. I wasn't a super big fan for Hulk Potts.
Yeah,
Pepper Hulk, whatever you want to call it.
What I really like about the Tony parts of Iron Man.
Also, the only good part about Iron Man 3 was the character development for Tony Stark.
And I think it's an essential piece. I think if you don't have his character development in Iron Man 3, he's not the same person.
I think you could have done a short film, and it would have accomplished more than that movie did.
I'm glad they made Iron Man 3.
I wish I didn't.
I cannot say the same thing about. Iron Man 2 is a little important because of the Avengers setup.
See, I think Iron Man 2 is fine. I think the biggest issue with that movie is that it's kind of just slow. It kind of slowly bores you to death.
And it's like 3 movies.
Where for me, I just think Iron Man 3 is straight bad. It's not even that it was just slow. It was just bad. I've never seen another movie directed by Shane Black, but that movie was bad.
Shane Black is great.
Gotcha.
Great. Well, I like that movie, and I think that's still probably his weakest movie.
I've never seen anything by him. The director, what was it, Peyton Reed for this movie?
Peyton Reed, yeah.
Peyton Reed. What else has he directed besides the Ant-Man movies?
I have no idea. I really have no idea. Well, my point I wanted to make about the direction was that I think part of the reason I don't identify with this movie as much as other Marvel movies is that we've seen a long stream of directors who make their mark. So really so you have the Russo brothers who are very clear style. Ryan Coogler who has something to say. Favreau, even Taika Waititi, whether you like it or not, you can feel his voice.
Yeah, I mean, who directed the first Captain America?
Oh, I don't know.
Because I think that's grossly the most underrated film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Actually, I would say Age of Ultron more so than Cap, but I still like Cap more than Age of Ultron. I think we would really put Age of Ultron down. But
yeah.
Yes, I agree. For the first Cap movie, it's awesome.
So yeah, I mean the direction of this movie, I didn't notice anything that like really glaringly bothered me.
But it's not like no, you did nothing wrong. It's just that we've had such
strong direction. Yeah, and it's like coming off of 2, like you're coming off of Black Panther and then Infinity War, and then
like Spider-Man. John Watts was kind of channeling John Hughes. The guy who did like Ferris Bueller and all that stuff.
Yeah,
you have really strong just voices.
Yeah,
this is just like we made a really good movie.
The thing that I like though with the consistency of Peyton Reed is that he gets the characters that he's doing. You know what I mean? Because again,
we're all. I think this is all good. It's important to remember this is all nitpicking.
Yeah, it is. It is a little bit more nitpicky, and I think the biggest thing too, like what I was going at with the consistency with Peyton Reed, is that some directors can kind of lose focus and lose track of the characters that they developed in a prior film, whereas he really sets it in. Like Paul Rudd as Ant-Man is Paul Rudd as Ant-Man.
Like, and part of that is because he hasn't played a huge part in any other movie besides the Ant-Man movies. Like he's in Civil War, but he's not there's no character development for Ant-Man in Civil War.
Yeah.
He shows up, he gets big.
Yeah, it's like this is the guy you saw in the first Ant-Man film.
Yeah.
He's here, and then this movie, obviously being an Ant-Man film, expands upon it.
So someone like Thor, who's gone through like 8 different things, or Cap. Nah, not so much Cap. But you know what I mean? Like people who like you or the Hulk, where you really pass this character from one director to the other, has a harder time with that. Versus Ant-Man is just.
Yeah, I mean, I see where you're going. I think honestly, we've had this conversation before. I think that the Captain America films are the most consistent between the 3.
Oh my god!
By far,
absolutely. Honestly, if you just gave me Captain America films are the best thing we've gotten out of the MCU.
Yeah.
I mean, Civil War is my favorite MCU movie. Winter Soldier would easily be top 5.
Yeah, I mean, you don't think the Iron Fist Netflix show is the best thing we've gotten out of the Marvel? You don't need to. Don't worry about it. His fist glows. He's from Kunlun, and his name is Danny Rand. That's all you need.
I just can't get over the fact that this is on whoever made Iron Fist, where you're like, we're gonna have a kung fu guy. It's gonna be a little bit like that.
And he's barely gonna do kung fu.
Yeah, I just can't.
Yeah, what a show. But besides the fact, is there anything else you wanted to discuss for the folks at home before we burst out into some spoilerific goodness?
I think I'm good.
Okay, so kind of
special effects, but they were good.
Yeah, the special effects were really solid. I was kind of like, after the hogwashing in Justice League, I pay a lot more attention to that kind of stuff, and there were no shitty mustaches in this movie.
Yeah, I agree.
We did not harm anybody's facial hair in the making of this movie.
Because of some of the CG we got in Black Panther, which I think is the one thing that I can find that I really don't like about Black Panther.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like, okay, our budget is kind of probably just like...
And it looks,
everything else looked good.
We've already talked about that.
Plenty of times. So, alright guys, thank you for tuning in to the non-spoiler review for Ant-Man and the Wasp by Tyson and myself. We're also going to be posting up a spoiler review around the same time this one comes out. So if you're either feeling on the dangerous side or you've already seen the movie, go ahead and check it out. I'm sure that'll be, a little bit more fun, a little bit more animated, because we won't need to keep ourselves closed-lipped. But if you guys leave us off here, Tyson, thanks for coming on and chatting a little bit about the movie. Always appreciate having you on. And don't forget to check out his Twitter for his radio show, @whatevertheshow, pop culture, and all that goodness. So thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next video. Thanks.